So today's video is going to be a discussion about the 222 meta coming to Overwatch. I also talk about the anniversary stuff as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce my co-host for the day, Captain Smiley.
Hello.
So let's hop into it. So what do you think of the 222 force change?
I think it's I think it's something that the game needs like
Definitely.
really badly, especially in the pro scene and to make things more balanced in normal rank.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Kind of reminds me a little bit of when the game first came out, how they were balancing around having all the heroes be pickable at the same time. Slowly is working its way into a fixed meta. It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting how the game started out. Um, Same thing kind of happened there though, where some heroes kind of didn't get picked as much anymore due to better heroes being a more viable option. Like, why would you pick like a McCree or a Soldier if you could pick an Ashe or a Widowmaker? Same kind of concept. I think that's what we're gonna have here as well.
Yeah, probably.
You had to guess, who would you say is probably the one that's going to be the most affected by this? What hero do you think?
I think Hammond's gonna be really good.
Interesting. So why would you say Hammond? Is there any particular idea behind it, or
Well, I think he can. Well, he doesn't directly counter it, but I think he definitely helps towards countering Bunker, which is probably going to be meta.
yeah, I could see that. Because I mean, he drops his all on the bunker comp and then it just blows up. One way.
And his existence pretty much will just stomp on Orion Zarya combos.
Yeah. Plus, you can solo the Rhine out as well just by booping him. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see where this all takes off to. I mean, me personally, I think you're probably like you said, you're gonna see more bunker comp, but I think it's gonna change the way we play the game, and I really hope that with the next hero, I don't know, have they announced something? I thought I heard something about a new hero as well, and during the anniversary event, like not coming out, but there's supposed to be a reveal or something. I thought I heard.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, I might be wrong on that. I might be thinking of something else. I remember there's supposed to be something coming during the anniversary event. I can't think of it. I know it said something about balance changes or something in one of the videos I was watching the other day. So I wonder if those are to kind of warm up everybody to the idea of the 222 comp or what it's going to be. Because there's definitely a lot of heroes that are going to need their kits adjusted to make this viable. So that way they just don't get
Yeah,
deleted.
definitely. They did say, I believe they announced that the roll lock is not going to be there for stage 3 of the Overwatch League, which means that it's probably going to be much longer than expected until we get roll lock.
Kind of interesting. Like I said, I personally think they should test it out on PTR and in other ranked games. Like work it from the PTR up to the players and then work it up to the Overwatch League, so that way you have all the bugs worked out of it potentially.
Yeah, that would make sense, but if it's not coming to like Overwatch League by stage 3, then it's probably not coming at all within like the next month or so.
Maybe.
Still probably going to be a while, I think.
Well, I know for like other games like League of Legends, they play on the same patch for a little while. They play on the older patch. Once the new one comes out, it's like I think a week or two difference or something like that. So maybe it's something like that. They don't want to just throw it on the players during the final wing there, or the final stage or stage 3. You
What
know,
character do you think will be the most negatively impacted by roll lock?
if I had to think, I could see, and it's gonna be a tank. It's gonna be Roadhog. Like he's just the odd tank out. I think. Like if you lie
Yeah.
everybody to a 2-2-2, and you're pretty much either gonna run Diva to some degree. You're gonna see some Reinhardt. You obviously see some Zarya, Hammond. It's just Roadhog just doesn't have the utility that the other tanks have. Like, kind of sad, but it's the truth.
I feel like it's either going to be Hog or Rhine, because unless Rhine gets some kind of CC resistance, I think he would definitely be playable then. But otherwise, I think it would probably be Rhine, because Roadhog is still played with Bunker quite a bit. Well, I think Diva's better, it's still played.
Yeah. I mean, if you give Ryan CC resistance like you're talking, it would be like giving him Fortify like Orisa has. I mean, would that be treading too much on Orisa's kit though? That's the real thing. He
Yeah, I don't know.
he
I don't know if it
does.
would be like a passive or an ability. I think an ability would make much sense.
Yeah, he would need something though because it's really frustrating to play Ryan right now, especially with Doomfist being a character in the game.
Maybe something like while you're holding up your shield, you have some kind of CC resistance.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see the changes they made with Brig though, because that was definitely a nightmare back then when she could just shield bash you in the face, and it just was horrible. It was almost like having Orion on your team was a 5v6.
Yeah.
I don't know how she launched with those changes or
I
without those.
feel like a lot of those changes might kind of come back so that she's able to be played in 2-2
I,
or roll lock rather.
I could see something like that. I mean, at worst, you just undo the change to her shield bash damage. I think that's what they hit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was the flail or the shield bash.
She used to be the one-shot tracers,
Yep, it was
so it
pretty
did a
strong.
solid amount of damage.
I think it was 175, if I remember right. Yeah, it was pretty strong. I mean, it was kind of annoying, getting shield bashed and one tapped, but at the same time, like if we're going to a 2-2-2, you're gonna need to give her something that puts her above the other supports. Honestly, I think you could do what they did with Sim and move her from the support category and put her in the DPS slot as well. Just rework her shield to something else that she gives out, and
Yeah, maybe.
you could rework her passive too to something that maybe she only heals or something, so that way she has some self sustain as well. Switch her R1 to something else.
What role in general do you think has been mostly impacted by it, or when it does come out?
Uh, like I said, it's gonna probably hurt damage as well because there's just a giant cast of characters for damage. The support role right now is pretty much you can just rotate any of the supports out, just depending on what you need. So it doesn't really hurt them as much because the variety's there. But damage, you've got a lot of characters that tread on top of each other. Like you got your McCree, which is hit scan, Soldier, Ash, Widowmaker. Uh, for projectile, you're looking at like Hanzo. If you're playing bunker comp, you're pretty much running a Bastion, so you only have one other slot available. So what are you going to take? Are you going to take something else that, protects the bunker? Or are you going to take something that deals with like maybe a Pharah in the sky if the Bastion's struggling to deal with her somehow?
Yeah,
Because Pharah can blow up bunker comp as well when she gets her ult. Take something that stops that. It's gonna be
yeah, probably.
gonna be interesting to see just how all this works out. And like I said, from past balancing experience, I mean that's gonna make any new hero they come out with kind of be really hard to pick, unless they have something super strong. Like it's gonna power creep everything as we go. I mean,
Yeah,
like
definitely. I feel like tank is just gonna be the most impacted. I'm starting to sound like a broken record with it, but just because going from the goats meta that was 3 tanks now being forced to have 2, and I feel like DPS and the healers really aren't impacted all that much by it.
I don't know. Like I said, there's just so many damage characters that do the same thing as each other, though. It's gonna power creep and make some of the damage characters be just completely useless compared to each other. I mean, there's gonna be the niche pick, obviously, but at the same time, it's the tanks. You're at least always gonna run like a Ryan Zarya for the most part, or Diva, Orisa, or something like that, or Hammond. Without a hog, it's about the same. There's always versatility. It's kind of like the support role where you have that main healer and then you have the off healer. There's just versatility there, whereas damage, there's not any versatility really.
Yeah,
I mean, you need hit scan for certain matchups. Who are you picking? You can't run 3 hit scan anymore to deal with a Pharah worst case scenario, or you're getting forced into picking only 2 DPS and hoping that you can actually carry on those DPS. Not to mention that if you queue as a DPS, I'm pretty sure you're stuck with the DPS heroes. You can't swap to, tank or healer, so you absolutely have to be sure that that's what you want to play. That's the other thing about it.
Mhm. What would you change about the DPS line if Rollock was added?
What would I change? I mean, right now, there's not a whole lot that you really can change because to me, it feels like they've backed themselves into a corner with hero development. That's just how it is, honestly. They have heroes that tread on top of each other. Like I said, Ashe, Widowmaker, Hanzo, they're all within that sniper category. The only reason that Ashe wouldn't be picked more than, like, say, a Widowmaker is just because she can't potentially one-shot people unless she's damage boosted. They're basically the same thing, and honestly, I would prefer having a Ashe than a Widow, just because, she has more versatility with her dynamite. She has her coach gun to knock people away from her. Whereas once you get on top of Widow, if Widow's not good enough to snipe you beforehand, she has very little outplay options. Like
Yeah,
her,
I think Ash is definitely gonna get like an increase in pick rate.
yeah, I agree.
So we were talking about a lot, but you wanted to make Roadhog a DPS. Explain that.
I think that's about the only viable place for him, just because I don't think he'll fit in the tank meta that'll come from a 2-2-2. I think he's better off being reworked because right now he's already technically more DPS than he is tank. He offers a little bit of appeal in the form of his hook, but outside of that, his other ability is just self-sustain for himself and his giant health pool. I mean, if you look at it, he already at one point he was actually better at killing things like Reaper, or better than Reaper rather, and that's why he got nerfed. You could give him back his old one-shot potential too as a DPS, just lower his health pool to kind of offset it. I mean, it was pretty disgusting what you could do if you landed a hook, like one-shot Zarya, one-shot Narissa, Reinhardt. It's crazy.
Yeah, Hog's glory days.
Oh yeah, Hog was definitely broken back then. It's kind of sad to see him the state he's in now, but yeah, I definitely think he needs to be moved from the tank slot just because I don't think anybody's really going to pick him because his kit isn't very versatile for, like a bunker comp. Yes, people may run him to pull people to displace them a little bit, but at the same time, you could just have a diva there to eat things though. Like if somebody Zarya tries to grab or you have a Hanzo try to ult, you could maybe eat that. I think that gives you more value than a hog hook potentially does.
Yeah, always.
I mean, having Zarya bubbles as well gives you way more protection. I mean, you can eat a diva bomb with them. Hog can only save himself from a diva bomb. He can't save other people unless he somehow hooks the bomb out of the sky, which is like a 1 in 10 chance that you're actually even going to potentially see that coming when you hook the diva.
I feel like Hog personally, I feel like he should just stay in the tank category, but I think he definitely needs buffs and damage overall, bringing back his one shot potential and just getting more shield break to help with bunker.
Yeah, I could see that as an option too. I mean, honestly, at this point, with the way they keep changing how the game fundamentally plays, like I said, from like the beginning days where you could pick any number of heroes you wanted at the same, to where we're at now where you can only have one of each hero on a team, to where now we're heading to a 2-2-2. I think they'd almost be better off just, making a second game and learning from their mistakes from the first one. And the other reason is because I don't know if you're aware, but there's a bill going through potentially to Congress right now. I did a video on it earlier today. And what they want to do is they want to ban loot boxes outright. Like it doesn't
Yeah, I've heard about that.
yeah, it like from what it covers, and this is really weird, but basically it would cover any game, doesn't matter the rating, which is really weird because you would think mature games wouldn't be covered by it since, grown adults gamble anyway with their money. They know what they're doing. But it would still cover those games as well because kids play those games, which was an oxymoron in and of itself. Not sure. I read an article about it, and that's what the guy who wanted to propose the bill said. But
Now,
yeah,
is it that specifically loot boxes are being banned or using real money to buy loot boxes?
it would be. any real life money. You could still get them through in-game means, but you would not be able to purchase them anymore. This would be loot boxes, any type of pay to win thing. I don't know if you're familiar with like Madden or FIFA, the card system they use. I'm
I do not.
okay. But basically, it's like online cards that are players, if you will, that have stats in that, and you pay a bunch of money for it. Like people have put in a lot of money. But it would be stuff like that, or pay to get an advantage, make levels easier, like in the case of Candy Crush. There's things like that that they're trying to target so kids can't pay for these things and get addicted to gambling, is what the whole thing is. And I'm on board with it because honestly, I think loot boxes are nothing more than a predatory system myself. I mean, I'm fine with it if you can, afford it with in game currency. That's one thing that I'm okay with because then you're not spending your real money. I guess speaking of the topic, where do you stand on the whole loot box system and the bill?
I'm probably in the same boat as you. I've never really cared that much about the system. I really don't play any pay to win games. So I feel like it really wouldn't affect me all that much personally. And I think it's a good thing if they got rid of it.
Yeah, I like I said, I totally agree. Like they made games back in the day for $50, and nowadays people are actually putting their games out for free, like Apex Legends, because they're making more money, putting it out to a free market and then breaking in all that money on costumes. Like, why would you charge somebody $60 just to, have them gated off when you could just offer it for free and then make more than that anyway?
So if that happened, do you think Apex would then become like a game you had to pay for if loot boxes were out of the question?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I don't know how that would actually work with like Sony's regulations for at least the store for them. EA Origin, I have no idea as well. I don't know how if you could suddenly go from free to, you have to pay now.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I feel like they would have to make a second game like you proposed with Overwatch and stuff like that.
yeah, honestly, I think it would just be easier for them to do that right now. Yes, it would suck because, all the time you spend in getting costumes and that would maybe be wasted. I'm sure they could figure out some type of system if they use the same heroes to transfer over the skins. But at the same time, that's pretty much what it is like in Destiny as well. Like, Destiny to Destiny 2, you lost everything, but I think they gave you some things if you played the original. There's things they could do to help offset that a little bit. But I think now we're at a time where we need a second game to kind of reinvent itself to bring back the hype for the game. Because on a competitive level, like just casual, like, not Overwatch League, I think the game is kind of losing interest.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like when I was playing ranked this weekend, I just ran into the same people near Masters and just, I've like played with the same people like 8 or 9 times. It's crazy.
Well, to be fair in that regard, like console, I mean, I don't know if you're talking about PC or console,
Uh,
but if,
Console in this case.
okay, well, if it's console, it definitely has like a significantly smaller player base, and Master is only a pretty small percentage of the small player base that console has.
Yeah, I get that. It's just I've also read the forums where they were talking about other regions having diamond players be in the top 500 for
Yeah,
like
I've heard about that.
PC, I think as well as where it was at. I mean, they definitely need to do something to spark interest in the game again. I mean, Overwatch isn't predatory with its loot box system, which is why I actually think it's a great game, especially considering it's done by Blizzard Activision, and Activision lately hasn't been too nice with their systems as of late, especially Call of Duty. And they were charging people, I think it was $5 just for a normal red dot sight on the gun. Crazy.
So, what do you think about the workshop that has now been added on both console and PC?
I haven't had a chance to actually mess with the workshop yet. I've heard pretty wonderful things about it though. Like you can make different game modes and that out of it. I've seen people race with Hammond. I've seen people race in the sky with Diva as well over Li Jiang.
Yeah, you can do insane stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting aspect to the game that kind of brings back some life to it, but at the same time, it's just kind of a goofy mode as well. Not gonna be anything.
Definitely most excited when people start like making a bunch of custom heroes.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how that would work if they would ever decide to put maybe somebody's hero in the game if it got enough hype behind it.
That would be amazing.
It would be pretty interesting. I wonder if they would, have some type of royalty for it since the person made it, or how that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get tired
I
of
mean,
Blizzard.
personally, like I think it would be like enough just to have my character in the game.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, like I said, that's probably a lot of people's dreams as well, just to get there.
I've
Uh,
seen like very few like custom heroes, but there are a few around, and like some of them, like there's this one character that can place like totems and stuff, and you can see the area that it affects with healing and stuff like that, and it's insane. Like it obviously doesn't have custom models, so we pretty much just used already existing shapes, but it was really cool.
yeah, pretty interesting what people will come up with when you give them the ability to make a bunch of open world stuff. I mean, Fortnite does the same thing with their thing. Can't think of what it's called. I don't know if it's a workshop or not. I don't think it's a workshop. I think it's just creative something.
I think the next step for workshop would be like a map editor, because that would just like basically make the game immortal.
Yeah, and then
Like
you could.
there's always gonna be that like small bit of player base. It's always gonna be attached to it because that literally just gives them infinite possibilities.
Yeah, I could see that definitely being a thing. I'm kind of confused why they didn't just have the map editor be there from the start. Why that wasn't like a base feature. Kind of an interesting thing to launch that and be able to make game modes, but in heroes, but you can't make new maps. I mean, the stuff is obviously there if you can make totems and stuff out of pre-existing assets.
Yeah,
So I guess what do you think of the whole anniversary setup that they've got going on this year?
I mean, I think it's really just the same as any other year, other than workshop is added. The skins are okay, and it brings back all the other cosmetics from every past event.
So do you think they're doing enough for the events, or do you think they're just kind of falling to the wayside now because everybody's seen them once and now it's basically a repetition outside of the storyline events?
I mean, personally, the events have never really been all that much. Like, the skins are cool, but that's really the only thing that I somewhat look forward to.
Yeah, I'm sure that's pretty much
Like,
what a lot of people look forward to.
yeah. And the skins this time around, like, some of them are pretty decent.
I mean, I like the map changes they'll make too occasionally with some of the updates leading into the events, especially for hero releases as well. So, what did you think of Numbani being removed from the playlist for a little while? Hear about
I
that?
have, yes, I did, and I have absolutely no idea what that's about. I don't know if they ever gave any context. All I know is that it disappeared and then reappeared.
They said it was because when they were fixing something elsewhere, it accidentally got removed from the map rotation. A lot of people were speculating that it was supposed to be Elfie or something, that she was going to be announced as the next hero.
Hmm.
It was just a mistake on Blizzard's end. It's kind of interesting.
I don't know what she would do if she was added as a hero, because she's like a lot younger. She would be like the youngest hero, right?
Would she? Yeah, I think she would. I think Brig might be the youngest right now. Diva. Diva's the youngest right now. I don't know how old Brig is, but I think she's older than Diva, and Diva's 18, I believe.
I thought Diva was 19, but yeah, Briggs
Something like
like
that.
23, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Don't know what she would do exactly either, because she doesn't seem like a character that would have a gun.
Well, I mean, she built Orisa, so I can only imagine it'd probably be something to the design of like a wrecking ball type deal, type of machine.
Yeah, I think it's like a really strange idea though, to just have like this kid in a mech.
Yeah. Actually, what do you think Baptiste effect's gonna be on the 222 meta?
Well, obviously he like massively buffs Bunker.
Dude buffs everybody though. Like if you can get a sim down with him being there, oh my god. Damage boost the sim and watch her go to town.
Yeah, but especially like with Bunker because that's going to be the meta most likely. He's just going to be super impactful. Like even with him right now, Bunker is still played a lot, and the only way people break through that is like EMP and Nano Blade.
Yeah.
And even then, you have to like wait like a minute for the Genji and Ana to like build up ult. Sombra gets it relatively fast, but
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like it's gonna maybe force you to play certain heroes anyway, which is the whole point of what the 222 was to get away from that, to get away from goats.
yeah, I mean, I feel like normal ranked is always gonna have that variety. Everyone's just gonna play what they want to play.
Oh yeah, I agree. Even though it doesn't work, they'll spam I need healing, then die, and then say that you're throwing the game for them, and life will go on.
In the pro scene, it's probably gonna be similar to Goats where everybody plays the same thing. On defense, it's probably just gonna be Bunker. And then on attack, is probably just gonna be Dive.
Yeah, I always said that any professional game, you can watch the pros play the game, and you will not have that same experience in your game. It just will not happen unless you actually have a team of six that know how to work together. It's just never going to
Yeah.
happen. You may get that occasional synergy with your team that, the light switch will flick on one time, you'll pop your ults, everything will go as planned, and you'll just wipe the team and keep pushing. And then there's going to be the Genji who alt dashes into the ground and then gets nano bladed, and you're confused about what's going on anymore. But you have to
Yeah,
commit because
definitely.
you committed. Good times. I love rank. Good times. I actually had one this weekend. Nano blade off the bridge on what is it? One of the newer maps. I can't think of the map.
Rialto?
There you go. Yeah, he dashed into the water with nano, and it was amazing.
Was it like accidentally did that or was he throwing?
I think he tried to go to the other side of the bridge on attack spawn because we were getting pushed in, and he tried to go to the right because they were messing with us on the right side, hooking and that, and he just missed the gap and just went straight down.
And what rank was this?
It's probably around diamond. I think because I'm floating around masters and diamond right now. I think he was diamond.
Yeah, my Smurf account's almost at diamond. I'm excited for that.
There you go. Climbs. Once you get on a roll, the climb's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just dodging that one person in the queue who, for whatever reason, gets to that rank and then decides, hey, I'm just gonna throw my games. I actually had people in masters doing that the other night. They would just queue up and they'd throw games.
I
Not,
rarely find anybody legitimately throw, but I do seem to get like a lot of levers.
yeah. I will say you gotta watch it in masters because like when you're playing in plat and that, people are, I'm not gonna say they're the most welcoming and open to ideas, but at the same time, you're more likely to get along with them than you are the people up in diamond and masters.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
be
that's what I've heard a lot, that diamond is like way worse than plat actually is.
It's not that the diamond players are bad, it's just that they're stubborn, they don't want to listen, and once something goes wrong one time, everybody starts blaming each other for why it went wrong, and masters players don't help because they have this attitude about rather than helping people, they just want to talk down to them.
Yeah, because they're higher ranked.
Yep. Come off as
And I feel like
condescending.
diamond is probably like as far as you can get with individual strength or
Yeah,
skill or whatever you want to call it.
that's probably realistic. I mean, you do what you can. That's really all you can do is focus on your own play. Like I try not to rely on my team too much if I can just try to solo carry. But I'll try to do, but it's some games are just hard because they're actually working together and you get paired with 3 and 4 stacks up there because the queue times are so long.
So how do you feel about most likely playing dive and bunker a lot.
My Genji's pretty rusty, so I'm gonna struggle with that, but I can play around dive and that as tanks. I can play any of the tanks. I'm not too worried there. My DPS really aren't that bad. Support, I can do anything but Ana on consoles. I played Ana on PC, and once I did that, it screwed up my aim on console. Now I can't hit any shots with Ana. It's really weird.
I remember you earlier at the beginning. You had asked me who's going to be most impactful. I take it back. It's not him, and Samba's probably going to be the best.
Yeah, I could see Sombra doing that because her kit alone blows up so many comps. It's actually insane.
Yeah.
I mean, back when she could hack health packs and get all charge off that was nuts. You'd have her ult like every 3 seconds. I'm sure eventually what we're gonna see nerfs to Sombra and her EMP alt charge timer. That'll increase, I'm sure. What else will we see? We'll probably see some type of hit to Bastion, I would imagine, and Baptiste Immortality Field.
I would hope Bastion gets nerfed.
I mean, they gave him the Ironclad. All they'd have to do really is just take that off of him and it would be fine. I mean, when he first got his Ironclad, he was broken. That was horrible. You couldn't do anything to him.
I don't know how Immortality Field would be nerfed or if it should be nerfed at all.
You'd have to hit the cooldown timer on it to where you remember how Winston's bubble used to work, where it wouldn't go on cooldown right away.
No.
So the bubble wouldn't go on cooldown until the bubble was destroyed, if that makes any sense. Whereas now it goes on cooldown the moment he places it. You would have to do something like that for Immortality Field because it's basically up for what 7 to 8 seconds, I think it is.
Yeah,
Something.
something like that.
Yeah, and by the time if you let a full Immortality Field set, it's an 18-second cooldown, so it goes down to 11. So you just have to make it to where when he places it, it doesn't immediately go on cooldown. I don't think it would kill the character because the whole point of Immortality Field is to most times use it to save yourself anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that
And
would,
in stuff like bunker, if you're getting dived, you just throw that down and it's pretty much countered.
yeah. I honestly I think Immortality Field is just bad for the game in general, just like Mercy Res was. I don't think that's a good idea. What was a good idea for them to put into the game? I mean, it has
Do
the
you
same.
mean do you mean the mass res ultimate or the res
Yes,
ability in general?
the Mass Res Ultimate. It's really similar to the Mass Res Ultimate when you really get down to it.
Do you think Baptiste will ever get reworked in the future to get rid of his immortality field?
Honestly, like where I said we're at for Overwatch, I don't think they're gonna rework any of the heroes, or they're not gonna be in any hurry to. Because right now, I think they're just trying to push as much Overwatch League content as they can, like skins and that, and they're not really as concerned about hero balance at the moment, unless the Overwatch League players complain about it. I think we're
Yeah.
at that point in time with the game, which is kind of sad, which is why I think they need to come out with a second game to reinvent themselves, to repopulate the game.
So in terms of future heroes, what kind of hero do you think they need? Like I want like a pyro type hero really bad.
Uh, Honestly, at this point, I would like some type of third shield tank, because
Yeah.
I'm not to say Orisa's not fun, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know. I just don't enjoy playing Orisa that much. She's pretty easy to play. She's way too straightforward. Want something with a little more challenge to it for a shield tank. I mean, Ryan is basically not even a hero at this point with the way some of these comps play around him. They just knock him in the air and then knock him away, and he's just gone. So it'd have to be something kind of like Orisa that can place a barrier that doesn't get knocked around.
I mean, what do you think about the ability that Symmetra used to have with her shield, how she'd place it and then it would move forward?
Wait, which one was? I'm trying to think. He had an ability that would place a shield and move forward?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
about
you're
as
right.
around. Yeah, it was about as big as Ryan's, except it was like an oval shape.
I forgot all about that. What did they? Oh, they replaced it with their teleporter. That's right. They reworked their teleporter or shield gen. The shield gen used to be the most obnoxious thing in the world.
I think having like a shield tank with that ability would be really cool. Like make the shield not move as fast so that it's actually there for a sizable amount of time.
Yeah, it'd give you the ability to cover ground as well and actually have to play around it. And then there's the outplay potential of being able to move back and forth on the moving shield as well. Team. You'd have to make it a decent size, maybe a little bit bigger than what hers was initially, just vertically.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty interesting. I forgot all about that. That was her first rework that she got where they removed her shield passive or whatever that she used to be able to give shields out to people. That's what they replaced it with.
Yeah, that was her ultimate she could place at, or at least her ultimate at that time is she could place either the teleporter or a shield generator.
And the shield generator sucked. Because that was the time when Torbjorn became popular because it was 150 free health and the way armor used to work back then. And I always said they needed to rework it to where armor fell off first and then the shield gen, which I think they ended up doing.
What do you think about having a character that has like two ultimates like Symmetra used to?
I'm not opposed to it. I honestly think it makes for more diversity. It makes so you actually have to think about what you're gonna do rather than, oh well, just gonna throw a pulse bomb here, you're dead, or I'm gonna earth shatter and just try to team wipe. It would give the tanks more versatility for sure. If there was something like, let's say for Reinhardt, it was a defensive alt instead of an offensive one, where it just made his shield have like a bunch more HP or something, or regen faster.
There any other subjects you want to cover?
Probably not today, unless I'm missing one. I think that's about it for me. Got anything
Yeah.
you want to talk about?
Nope, I think we covered most of it.
Okay, well that sounds amazing. So hopefully everybody out there watching enjoyed the video. I could try to do this more often. I'm looking to do maybe Overwatch spectates at some point and some type of scrims as well, so I can do some type of casting. That'd be what I really want to do.
Scrims, we need it.
Yeah, I gotta get around to it. There's just a lot going on right now. I'm trying to do a bunch of different things at the moment. I'm trying to put more YouTube content out there while playing other games at the same time.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Streaming is pretty rough sometimes. You want to try to, play the games that people come to watch you for originally, and then it becomes a big mess and you're just all over the place.
Yeah, that's why if you start, you have to start by like being a variety content creator.
Yeah, I think variety is probably the hardest thing you can do, to be honest. Just because, again, like you came in for the Overwatch, so if I were to stop playing Overwatch, would you stop watching? That's the whole thing you gotta think in your head. And I've had people, who used to watch me play like Final Fantasy. I used to speedrun that, so they don't show up anymore because I'm not doing that. It's just you gotta find a way to balance and juggle it all. Of course, I'm doing Tuesdays and Thursday nights for World of Warcraft. Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a struggle. Then there are times where you're having fun with it. Like I said, I enjoy when people come in and converse with me in the chat. I think that's probably the greatest feeling you can have, to know that you're making somebody else's day and that you're hanging out with them.
Yeah, that's probably like my favorite thing, no offense, about small streamers is that you can go in there and like just kind of talk and actually interact, or as much bigger streamers, it's a lot harder to do that.
You got the copy pastas flying every 3 seconds.
Yeah, like any like Overwatch player, like people like XQC, Emong, stuff like that, like you go in that chat, there's just like emotes,
Yep.
copy pasta everywhere.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, if that's it. If there's ever any of time a video you want to cover, just let me know and we can bring you back on and we can cover that too.
All right.
But for this video, Archon Tsunami here, my co-host. I'll let you do your outro.
Uh, Goodbye. I guess.
And there you go. Captain Smiley. We'll have him on again sometime for more Overwatch news probably. And with that, guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the 2-2-2 meta. Do you think it's going to impact any particular hero? Do you think we're going to see nerfs or balance changes to adjust for it? Yeah, with that, we're going to head out, and I will see everybody on the next video. Thanks for watching.